Hello. So, I want to talk about this concept that it's it's not rare, it's not uncommon. It's in the Bible, but I don't know. I experienced a while ago. I was taught against this that God never punishes us, but like I'm reading scripture and it's like He does punish you, and it's like the best thing for you. And I feel like I'm like in that spot of my life, or like I don't think it's like I don't think like being punished by God is like a rare season or something like that. It's like it'll happen again and again type beat. But so a classic, right? Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. That's what I want to talk about. But I feel like the whole prior 4 verses kind of, or 3 verses kind of like play into this a bit. So the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I think that's usually interpreted as like I will not lack finances, but, and I'm sure you could find the flavor of that in there, like for sure, maybe, but I think it's more of like the Lord is my shepherd. What do I lack? Like, what do I really need? The Lord is my shepherd. Like, that's personal. That's a huge deal. If he's guiding me, he knows what I need. This is why we don't pray about food and clothes and the things the Gentiles seek after, because we already know he got that. But also, it's like, I don't need this or that. Like, I have intimate fellowship with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And then the next verse, he maketh me to lie down in green pastures. The fact he has to make us lie down, like our natural inclination is to walk right past green pastures, but he makes us to lie down in them. I know for myself, like, God's got to tell me to rest, because in my own mind, I don't. He leads me beside still waters. It's he who does this. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. I've experienced that. Like, you know, I've struggled with sin at times, and you know, there has been times where it's just like, all of a sudden, you just wake up and then you're just free from something. You're just free from something. Like, you've been trying. You've been trying for like whatever, however much time. But then like one day, you're just free from something. And it's like, he leads you in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Like, he'll just do it to you. I don't have a rule book for that. I just know it happens. And it's good. Okay. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. I love that, because, you know, you read the Song of Solomon, you find out that Jesus is the rose of Sharon, the lily of the valley. I don't know if I'm reaching, but like, walking through the valley of the shadow of death, I don't fear evil because you are with me. I'm like, yo, is it like the valley of the shadow of death doesn't matter if I know the lily of the valley? Crazy if that connects. I feel like it does, but in any case, if you're in the valley, he's with you, so you don't fear. So it still works. But okay, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. So the rod is for correction, the staff is for guidance. Both comfort us. The rod, though, let's talk about the rod. Because if you go to Hebrews 12, it gets a little crazy. Okay, Hebrews 12 talks about punishment. Some translations say punishment. KJV says chastisement, but it's the same thing. I was reading this yesterday with the homies. I was like, yo, this is kind of crazy. Okay, so Hebrews 12 starts with the background of Hebrews 11, where we just talked about by faith, Abraham and Sarah, by faith, Rahab, by faith, Gideon, Barak, Samson, David, all these people. And some people by faith, they like conquered kingdoms, subdued nations, they rose up, they ascended, right? But others by faith had trials of cruel mockings and scourgings, and yea, moreover, bonds and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn in half, they were tempted, they were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in the mountains and in the dens and the caves of the earth. All of these, having obtained a good report of faith, through faith, received not the promise. But God, having provided some better thing for us, that they should not without us be made perfect. But just to think that, like that's so antithetical to like the common American message of like, if you're blessed by God, you have stuff. And like your life is radiant and everything's peachy and smooth sails and glassy seas and oh my gosh, everything's beautiful. Others by faith were stoned, cut in half, tempted, destitute, meaning they have no money, no food, no house. They wandered in sheepskins and goatskins, so they killed animals to have clothes. Crazy. And like it says, those people, the world's not even worthy of them. But if you saw a person like that, you might look at them and be like, oh, gross. They're probably not in the will of God. You know, but here it is, talking about how good it is. Then we get to Hebrews 12, talking about we're surrounded by so great an example of faithful people. That's what it means by saying we're encompassed by so great a crowd of witnesses. We're surrounded by so great examples of people who live faithfully. Let us lay aside every weight and sin that easily besets us. Let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. Let me put this in my mouth because my throat is actually cooked and I'm struggling right now to keep speaking. Definitely not editing that out. Okay, but dude, for the joy set before him, endured the cross, disregarding the shame. Crazy. We're supposed to follow this. I want to stop. I don't want to. My phone's about full of storage, so I have to go fast. I would want to read more, but I have to skip some. But you should read this whole chapter. You should read the whole book of Hebrews actually in one go. That would be the best thing. But it talks later about I guess I'll just read. For consider him, talking about Jesus, who endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, or bitter hostility from sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your minds. Ye have not resisted unto blood, striving against sin. So Jesus would not go against the Father's will so much as to die on the cross. We have not resisted to the extent of death, to bloodshed, to not sin. So lock in, baby. That's what it's saying. And you have not you have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. If you endure chastening, God dealeth with you as sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then ye are bastards and not sons. Crazy. Furthermore, ye had fathers of the flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? For verily for a few days they chastened us after their own pleasure, but he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness. Now no chastening for the present time seems joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. So, to translate that, God punishes his children, because a good parent will punish their children. If someone doesn't punish their children, they don't really love their children. They'll just let them grow up like weeds and become kind of terrible people. That's usually how it goes. But no, our Father loves us, so he punishes us. Bro, I was at this church, they taught me. I'm not slandering them, but I'm just doctrine. God never wants to punish us. He loves us. You gotta get free from the punishment paradigm. I know what they're talking about. They're trying to get you away from the excessive self-condemned, God's about to smite me. I'm, all that. I get that. But it was just taught to the extent that God never punishes us. Here just talking about how God punishes us. This translation says chastisement. The other, NOT, says punishment. But, okay. God will punish his actual children. But if you don't have punishment, you're not even a legit child. And for me, I don't want to get into too much detail. I will one day, just not in this video. The punishment it wasn't forced upon me by circumstances, but it was offered to me. And I was like, that sounds uncomfortable. I think I'll pass. And I delayed, and I delayed, and I delayed, and I delayed. And it's like, but if I be without chastisement, I'm not even a legit son. So how about we just accept what we get from the Lord? How can I receive good things and not accept the bad things? I'll take all from the Lord, because I can trust him, because he loves me, and he's my Father, and he's just. Our parents corrected us for years, but they did it to their own pleasure. But he does it for our profit. He does it so that for our own good, that we might partake of his holiness. Crazy. No chastisement or punishment seems joyful at the time, but rather, the other translation says sad and painful. So you could be in a situation where you're called to something sad and painful, and it seems like your life is sad and painful, and that's actually the will of God. Crazy. And it's just so good. I'm gonna run out of time because I can just feel my phone about to stop. But man, I really should go for the whole chapter. I can't do it. I can't tell. Usually, I can't tell when it's gonna cough, but it's gonna very soon. I can tell. But dude, just to accept the suffering of the Lord, the punishment from the Lord, and to know it's a good thing, so you willfully accept it. I'm late at arriving to this, but now that I have, I'm bro, it's so much better. It's so much better than doing stuff on my own, protecting myself from suffering. At least, because you can't really protect yourself from suffering. You can only protect yourself from certain sufferings, which just shows the futility of your efforts anyway. But doing that as opposed to just submitting, so much more heartache, disconnection from God, emotional issues. Life is just a little grayed out, a little more boring, so you have to fill the void with scrolling or a vice of some sort, whether it's an illegal one or a legal one. And it's just so much better to just trust and obey, like that little song from childhood. But I'm gonna have to end it, because otherwise it's just gonna end randomly mid-sentence. But oh my gosh, Jesus, thank you for inviting me to be made conformable unto your death, to suffer with you.